everyone. Hare Krishna Mataji. I myself, Purvasha, will be doing the Sanskrit and Pranchu will be doing the translation.
Okay, thank you.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Chapter 1, Canto 3, Questions by Vidura. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evametat Pura Prushto Maitreyo Bhagavan Kila Shatravanam Pravishtena Dvaktva Svagruham Ruddhimat.
Sukadev Goswami said, after renouncing his prosperous home and entering the forest, King Vidura, the great devotee, asked this question of His Grace Maitreya Rishi.
Yadvayam mantra krutvo Bhagavan Akhileshvaraha Pauravendra Gruham Hitva Praviveshatmasat Krutam.
What else is there to say about the residential house of the Pandavas? Sri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as your minister. He used to enter that house as if it were his own, and he did not take any care of Duryodhana's house.
Rajavacha Kutra Shatur Bhagavata Maitreyena Sasangamaha Kadava Sahasamvada Etad Varnayana Prabhu.
The king asked Sukadev Goswami, where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidura and His Grace Maitreya Muni? Kindly oblige, my lord, and describe this to us.
Nahyalparthodayastasya vidurasya malatmanaha tasmin variyasi prashnaha sadhuvado prabhumitaha.
Saint Vidura was a great and pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his questions to His Grace Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful, on the highest level, and approved by learned circles.
Sutta uvacha Saivam rishivaryo ayam prushto ragya parikshita pratyahatam subahuvet pritatma shruyatamiti.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, the great sage Sukadev Goswami was highly experienced and was pleased with the king. Thus being questioned by the king, he said to him, please hear the topics attentively.
Shri Shuka uvacha Yada tu rajasva sutana sadhun pushnanna dharmenu vinashta drushtihi praturya vishthasya sutan vibandhun praveshya laksha bhavena dadaha.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, King Dhritarashtra became blind under the influence of impious desires to nourish his dishonest sons, and thus he set fire to the lacquer house to burn his fatherless nephews, the Pandavas.
Yada sabhayam kuru deva devyaha keshabhimarsham suta karma garhyam Navarayamasanupashnusayah Swashredharantya kucha kunkumani.
The king did not forbid his son Dushasana's abominable action of grabbing the hair of Draupadi, the wife of the godly king Yudhishthira, even though her tears were washed the red dust on her breast.
Dyute twadharmena jitasya sadhoh सत्यावलम्बस्य वनं गतस्य न याचतो अदत्समयेन दायं तमोजुषानो यद् अजातशत्रुः.
Yudhishthira, who was born without any enemy, was unfairly defeated in gambling, but because he had taken the vow of truthfulness, he went off to the forest. When he came back in due course and begged the return of his rightful share of the kingdom, he was refused by Dhritarashtra, who was overwhelmed by illusion.
यदा च पार्थप्रहितः सभायां जगद्गुरुर्यानि जगादकृष्णः न तानि पुंसाम् अमृतयाननानि राजोरुमेने शतपुण्यलेशः.
Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna into the assembly as the spiritual master of the whole world, and although his words were heard by some, like Bhishma, as pure nectar, it is not so for the others, who are completely bereft of the last farthing of our pious works. The king, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana, did not take the words of Lord Krishna very seriously.
यदोपहूतो भवनं प्रविष्टो मन्त्राय पृष्ट किल पूर्वजेन अथाह तन्मन्त्रदृशां वरीयान् यन्मन्त्रिणो वैदुरिकं वदन्ति.
When Vidura was invited by his elder brother Dhritarashtra for consultation, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is well known, and instructions by Vidura were approved by expert ministers of state.
अजातशत्रो प्रतियच्छदायं तितिक्षतो दुर्विषहं तवागः सहानुजो यत्र वृकोदराहिः श्वसन्रुषा यत्त्वमलं बिभेषि.
Vidura said, "You must now return the legitimate share to Yudhishthira, who has no enemies and who is forbearing through untold sufferings due to your offenses. He is waiting with his younger brothers, amongst whom is the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you are afraid of him."
पार्थं स्तु देवो भगवान् मुकुन्दो गृहीतवान् शक्षिति देवदेवः आस्ते स्वपुर्यां यदुदेवदेवो विनिर्जिताशेषनुदेवदेवः.
Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Pritha as his kingsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Sri Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members, the kings and princes of the Yadu dynasty, who have conquered an unlimited number of rulers, and he is their Lord.
स एष दोषपुरुषद्विदास्ते गृहान् प्रविष्टो यमपत्यमत्या पुष्णासि कृष्णाद् विमुखो गतः श्रीस्त्यजस्व शैवां कुलकौशलाय.
You are maintaining offense personified, Duryodhana, as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible, and do good to the whole family.
इत्युचिवांस्तत्र सुयोधनेन प्रवृद्धकोपस्फुरितधरेण असत्कृतः सत्स्पृहणीयशीलः शक्तसकर्णानुजसौबलेन.
While speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger, and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in company with Karna, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni.
कयनामत्रोपजुहावजिह्मं दास्य सुतं यद्बलिनेव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रतीपपरकृत्यास्ते निर्वास्यताम् आशुपुरच्छ्वसनः.
Who asked him to come here, this son of a kept mistress? He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately, and leave him with only his breath.
स्वयं धनुर्द्वारिनिधाय मायां भ्रातुपुरोमर्मसूतादितोऽपि सैत्थं मत्युल्बणकर्णबाणैर्गतव्यथो अयदुरुमानयानः.
Thus being pierced by arrows to his ears, and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the acts of external energy to be supreme.
सनिर्गता कौरव पुण्यलब्धो गजः वयत्तीर्थपदापदानि अन्वाक्रमत् पुण्यचिकीर्षयोर्व्यम् अधिष्ठितो यानि सहस्रमूर्तिः.
By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a high order of pious life, he traveled to the holy places, where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated.
पुरेषु पुण्यो पवनाद्रिकुञ्जे स्वपङ्कातोयेषु सरित्सरासु अनन्तलिङ्गै समलङ्कृतेषु चचार तीर्थयतनेष्वनन्यः.
He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna, through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the grove, hill, and orchard, and river and lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's process.
गाम्पर्यतन्मेध्यविविक्तवृत्तिः सदा प्लुतो अधाशयनो अवधूताः अलक्षितस्वैरवधूतवेषो व्रतानि चेरे हरितोषणानि.
While so traversing the earth, he simply performed duties to please the Supreme Lord Hari. His occupation was pure and independent. He was constantly sanctified by taking his bath in holy places, although he was in the dress of a mendicant and had no hairdressing or a bed on which to lie. Thus he was always unseen by his various relatives.
इत्थं व्रजन् भारतमेव वर्षं कालेन यावद् गतवान् प्रभासं तावच्च साशितिमेकचक्राम् एकातपत्रामजितेन पार्थः.
Thus, when he was in the land of Bharatavarsha, traveling to all the places of pilgrimage, he visited Prabhashetra. At that time, Maharaj Yudhishthir was the emperor and held the world under one military strength and one flag.
तत्राथ शुश्रावसुहृद्विनस्तिं वनं यथा वेणुजावानि संश्रयम् संस्पर्धया दग्धमथानुशोचन् सरस्वतीं प्रत्यगियाय तूष्णीम्.
At the place of pilgrimage at Prabhasha, it became to his knowledge that all his relatives had died due to the violent passion, just as an entire forest burns due to the fire produced by the friction of bamboos. After this, he proceeded west, where river Saraswati flows.
तस्यां द्वितयोशना सुमनुश्च पृथोरथाग्निरसितस्य वायोः तीर्थं सुदासस्य गह्वां गुहस्य यक्ष्राददेवस्य सा शिशवे.
On the bank of the river Saraswati, there were 11 places of pilgrimage, namely 1. Dvita, 2. Ushana, 3. Manu, 4. Prithu, 5. Agni, 6. Ashita, 7. Vayu, 8. Shudasa, 9. Go, 10. Guha, and 11. Shraddhadeva. Vidura visited all of them and duly performed rituals.
Hare Krishna, please forgive us for all of our mistakes. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhasha Mataji and Pranshu Prabhuji. Very beautiful recitations. Thank you so much. Very divine, very beautifully recited.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So, we shall enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, first we offer our humble obeisances to Acharyas and the Supreme Personality of God. हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वय्ह भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृसताम् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकसधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेषा पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये अति विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्तिस्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं चिन्निदृढं पाण्डुषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषया मतिर्मदपते सकृत् रतिमुद्वाहत दद्दा गङ्गेव भूदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सखा विष्णु वृषभावनिधृराजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुराट्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य मर्त्येनं किमुताशशः पुनश्च भूयाद्भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गशतदाश्रयेषु महस्त्वयां यामुप्यां सृष्टिं मैत्रिसु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः हरे कृष्ण dear devotees, thank you for joining this evening for Srimad Bhagavatam. So we shall enter into, I shall share my screen. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 1, verse number 17. So in this chapter, so Vidura meets Uddhava, and then so here Maitreyi, she is speaking about, Suta Goswami is speaking about the Maitreyi Rishi, about the Maitreyi Rishi and Vidura, how they have come together. And so here in the pre-context is that so Vidura, it is the time for the Kurukshetra battle. So before that, Vidura was trying to give good instructions to Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, but they did not accept. And Duryodhana with his harsh words, and then Vidura was a bit upset, and then he left that place. He left the Hastinapura for the Tirthayatras. So Vidura, he is the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, and he is the father level to Duryodhana. So, but Duryodhana, when he was speaking through the harsh words, and then Vidura actually he is the Maharada. He is the Maharada. But if he is standing, but he does not want to fight with the Pandavas in the Kurukshetra battle. So he is always at the Dharma side. But somewhere or other, by the divine arrangement, so he got the opportunity to leave the Hastinapura and also to avoid that situation, awkward situation. So he swayam dhanadhvarindraya mayam bhratuh puro marmasu taditopi saitam ati ulbhana karnabanaihi gatavyato yaduhu urumanayanaha. So they are marmasu taditopi. So here in the previous verse, whenever any relatives they are using the harsh words, it is very, very hard to bear such kind of words. So here Lord Shankara says one of the statement to Sati Devi. When Sati Devi wanted to go to the Daksha Prajapati's yajna, so they, at the time, sometimes if the relatives, if they use the harsh words, it is a more painful. Even day and night, one has to suffer. So here, Lord Shankara says, "Tatadabhihi navite silimukaihi sete सेच अर्धिताङ्गुर्हृदयेन धूयता स्वानं यथा वक्रध्यां धुरुक्तिभिः दिवानिशां तप्यति मर्मताडितः दियां nisham tappyati marmataritah. So Lord Shiva says that if one is hurt by the arrows of an enemy, one is not as aggrieved as when cut by the unkind words of a relative, for such grief continues to rend one's heart day and night. So this is what we see general day-to-day life. Sometimes husband and wife, mother and son, and father and son, in different relations, sometimes they use the harsh words. So that will make one continuously rend such kind of grief day and night. So here the situation is Vidura has got such kind of words from Duryodhana. But Vidura has taken that opportunity to leave to the Tirtha Yatras. So now we are going to see the 17th verse. Okay. So we shall recite and go with the translation and purport, and then we see what Prabhupada has explained in this. स निर्गतः कौरव पुण्यलब्धो गजाह्वयातीर्धपदः पदानि अन्वाक्रमत् पुण्यचिकीर्षयोर्व्याम् अधिष्ठितो यानि सहस्रमूर्तिः स निर्गतः कौरव पुण्यलब्धो स निर्गतः. So Vidura, sa nirgatah, he left that place, from that place. Sa nirgatah kaurava punyalabdho. So he is now part of the Kaurava dynasty, Vidura. So punyalabdho, and he has achieved that piety. And Gajahvayat Tidda Padah Padani, he left from Astinapura for where Tidda Padah Padani of the pilgrimages where the Supreme Lord is situated. Tidda Padah Padani. Anvakramat Punya Chikishayo Urvyam. Anvakramat, he took the shelter for the piety, Punya Chikeshaya, desiring to acquire more piety. Urvyam, the more highest piety, high grade, highest order of pious life. Anvakramat Punya Chikeshwaryo Urvyam. Adhisthito Yani Sahasramurtihi. So the places where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated, these are called Tirthas, Tirthapada. And whenever we are going to that Tirthas, so we will be purified from the sinful activities that we have been performing. That is the place. So here, Vidura wanted to acquire most the highest order of pious life. Anyakramat punya chikeshayo urvyam adhisthito yani sahasramurtihi. There are different temples like Lord Shiva and so many other temples, Kali and Krishna temples. But one has to go to the Tirtha Padani. So here, Vidura is now going to Tirthas. Sa nirgataha punyalabdho gajahvayatihi. So translation for this verse. By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapura, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are where thousands of and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Vidura was undoubtedly a highly elevated and pious soul. Otherwise, he would not have taken his birth in the Kaurava family. To have high parentage, to possess wealth, to be highly learned, and to have great personal beauty are all due to past pious acts. But such pious possessions are not sufficient for obtaining the grace of the Lord and being engaged in his transcendental loving service. Vidura considered himself less pious, and therefore he decided to travel to all the great places of pilgrimage in the world in order to achieve greater piety and advance nearer to the Lord. So at that time, Lord Krishna was personally present in the world, and Vidura could have at once approached him directly. But he did not do so because he was not sufficiently freed from sin. One cannot be 100% devoted to the Lord unless and until he is completely free from all effects of sin. Vidura was conscious that by the association of the diplomatic Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, he had lost his piety and was therefore not fit to associate at once with the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, this is confirmed in the following verse. येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता bhajante mam dృఢవ్రతాः. So, persons who are sinful asuras like Kamsa and Jarasandha cannot think of Lord Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. That's absolute truth. So here, Krishna's statement here, until one completely frees from antagatam papam, once he is free from the sinful activities, jananam punyakarmanam, and situate in the pious activities, and then completely te dvandva moha nirmukta, free from the dualities of the materialistic life. Such kind of people, bhajante mam dృఢవ్రతాः, they will take to the devotional service by dృఢవ్రతాः, determined devotional service. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning only those who are pure devotees, those who follow the regulative principles of religious life as prescribed in the scriptures, are able to engage themselves in karma yoga and then jnana yoga, and thereafter by pure meditation can understand pure consciousness. So when God consciousness is developed, one can take advantage of the association of pure devotees. Syan masyavya vipraha punyatirdhinishevanat. So one is able to associate with the Lord even during the existence of this life. And the places of pilgrimage are meant for eradicating the sins of the pilgrims. And they are distributed all over the universe just to give facility to all concerned for attaining pure existence and God realization. One should not be satisfied, however, merely by visiting the places of pilgrimage and performing one's prescribed duties. He should be eager to meet the great souls who are already there, engaged in the service of the Lord. In each and every place of pilgrimage, the Lord is present in his various transcendental forms. These forms are called Archamurtis, or the forms of the Lord, which can be easily appreciated by the common man. The Lord is transcendental to our mundane senses. He cannot be seen with our present eyes, nor can he be heard with our present ears. To the degree that we have entered into the service of the Lord, or to the proportion that our lives are freed from sins, we can perceive the Lord. But even though we are not free from sins, the Lord is kind enough to allow us the facility of seeing him in his Archa Murtis in the temple. The Lord is all powerful, and therefore he is able to accept our service by presentation of his Archa form. No one, therefore, should foolishly think the Archa in the temple to be an idol. Such an Archamurti is not an idol, but the Lord He Himself. And to the proportion that one is free from sins, he is able to know the significance of the Archamurti. The guidance of a pure devotee is therefore always required. So, in the land of Bharatavarsha, there are many hundreds and thousands of places of pilgrimage distributed all over the country, and by traditional practice, the common man visits such holy places during all seasons of the year. Some of the representations of the Lord situated in different places of pilgrimage are mentioned herewith. The Lord is present at Madura, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, as Adi Keshava. The Lord is present at Puri, that is Orissa as Lord Jagannatha, also known as Purushottama. He is present at Allahabad or Prayaga as Bindu Madhava. At Mandra Hill, he is present as Madhusudana. In the Ananda Aranya, he is known as Vasudeva. And Padmanabha and Janardana. At Vishnu Kanchi, he is known as Vishnu. And at Mayapura, he is known as Hari. There are millions and billions of such Archa forms of the Lord distributed all over the universe. All these Achamurtis are summarized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the following words. Sarvatra Prakasha Tantra Bhakta Sukhe Dhite Jagatera Adharmanasi Dharma Stapite. The Lord has distributed himself all over the universe just to give pleasure to the devotees, to give the common man facility to eradicate his sins and to establish religious principles in the world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this purport, so Prabhupada is explaining about the first Vidra, he is the pious soul. So in his previous life, he is the Yama and due to the curse of Manduka Muni, so he has taken as a Shudra. Though he has appeared in the Kuru dynasty, he did not inherit any of the kingdom. Ritual kingdom, but he was facilitated with all the facilities um, along with Dhritarashtra. So now, because he has appeared, he got the opportunity to associate with the people like Bhishma and Vyasadeva, so such kind of the great souls. So he has acquired lots of piety by that time itself. So, and then to have high parentage, to possess wealth, to be highly learned, and to have great personality, beauty, or all due to pious acts. So because he is the Yamadharma Raja, so that's why he got that opportunity as well. And because he was doing his duty, but it's a small thing with the Mandaka Muni, so he got to appear here in the Kuru dynasty. Such pious positions are not sufficient for obtaining the grace of the Lord and being engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is Janma Aishwarya Shruta Sribihi Edamana Madah Puman Na Eva Arhati. So these are the not the qualifications. Twamakinchana Gocharam. Krishna, he is revealed only for the Akinchana Gocharam, who render service selflessly. For them, Krishna reveals himself. So here, Vidra considered himself as the less pious, and therefore he decided to travel all the great places of pilgrimage in the world in order to achieve greater piety and advance nearer to the Lord. So this is what all the devotees, even though Vidra, by the time itself, Krishna knows Vidra as the pure devotee, and also Krishna has visited Vidra's home, and everyone understands the Vidra situation, but still he thinks that he himself as the he needs to acquire most pious. So he thinks himself less pious at the moment. This is the position of a devotee. So he wanted to travel to all the places of pilgrimage. So though Krishna was present personally in the Dwaraka, and he wanted to free from all kinds of some impressions that association with the Dhritarashtra and the Duryodhana and company. So he wanted to travel to all the places. So one cannot be 100% devoted to the Lord unless until he is completely free from all effects of sins. So that Krishna statement, Esham Kuntagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam. Then only he will come to the pure devotional service to the Lord. Okay, and then further, Prabhupada explains, so there are so many activities like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then finally, once they are matured enough in the Karma, they will acquire Jnana, and then further, devotional service. So that is the ultimate activity for a devotee. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly. remembering the Lord is among the. So such a way, God consciousness will be developed. So by that time, when God consciousness is developed, one can take advantage of the association of the pure devotees. This is called Syanma Sevya Vipraha Punyatidhani Sevana. So this is called Mahat Seva. So Susurusha Saddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchihi Syanmasya Vipraha Punyatidhani Sevana. When we render service to the devotees of the Lord, then we get the Vasudeva Kataruchihi. And they will also get the Punyatid Nishevana. Then he will be able to associate with the Lord even during the existence of this life. I wanted to travel to all the pilgrimages of the Lord and understand the Sthala Purana. And then after hearing the devotees, they are once they will hear the story of the Vishnu devotees of the Lord, they will derive most ecstatic the mood. They will attach to the Lord in such kind of moods. Get the Sthala Puranas, and so that is where one is able to associate with the Lord even during the existence of this life. So otherwise, Natyadda buddhihi salile karehchet janeshu avijneshu saeva gokaraha. So there's Prabhupada number of times he mentions that if one goes and then he take the bath in the lake and then go to the deity and take darshan and come back without meeting the devotees of the Lord, such kind of person is called as a saeva gokaraha, like a cow and asses. But actually to meet the devotees of the Lord, that is what pilgrimages are meant for. So these pilgrimages are when the Lord appears with his deity form in the different pilgrimages, like ye yata bhui vattante puryoho bhagavataha priyaha tastanti vaikunte tattat leela dhamadrutaha. They are meant for to perform the Lord's pastimes. Tattat leela dhamadrutaha. Bhuvyatante Puryoho Bhagavata Priyaha, they are very dear to the Lord. So all the dhamas like the Dwaraka, Madura, and Puri Kshetra, Purushottama Kshetra, all the Kshetra, the Lord manifests himself. So they exist distributed all over the universe just to give the facility to all concerned for attaining pure devotee, pure existence and God realization. This is pure existence. Devotees go there to clear off from all kinds of sinful activities or bad qualities. Madharmano guneretaihi parisham shuddha asayah. Parisham shuddha asayah. Purushasya anjisabhyeti swatamatra gunam himam. They understand that Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is so pure, and if we go and associate with the Lord, then they will also get the purification just by hearing. Swatamatra gunam himam. Madharmano gunairetehi parisham shuddha asayah. That is the pure desires. That's why they have to go to the pilgrimages. So one should not be satisfied, however, merely by visiting the places of pilgrimage and performing one's prescribed duties. He should be eager to meet the great souls who are already there, engaged in the service of the Lord. So because some devotees, they engage 150 years, 60 years throughout their life, 80 years. So likewise, if we hear any about the Lord from them, we feel the real the experiences. So there are so many miracles they would be going through in their life, throughout their life. We would hear such kind of hidden stories as well. In each and every place of pilgrimage, the Lord is present in his various transcendental forms. So this is, we have got so many temples in the India and outside of India, throughout the world. Now we have got, with the mercy of Prabhupada, throughout the world, wherever we go, we have got so many of the temples. Okay, these forms are called Achamutis, or forms of the Lord, which can be easily appreciated by the common man. So the Lord says that one has to go to the temple, Madhishna Darshana Puja Suti Abhivandanaihi. Bhuteshu Madbhavanaya Satven Asangamen cha. One has to go to the temple and see the Lord, touch the Lord, and worship the Lord. That is the requirement. He cannot be seen with our present eyes. So the Supreme Lord, he cannot be seen with our present eyes, nor he can be heard with our present ears as well. So here he is the Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. So he is the Vaikuntanada. He is always in the Vaikunta planets or Golok Vrindavan. We cannot see with our materialistic eyes. First, we have to purify our senses. Then the Lord will reveal himself to us. अतः श्रीकृष्णामादि नभेद्ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखैः जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदः. Atah Sri Krishna Namadi. So starting from the name of the Lord, Atah Sri Krishna Namadi, Na Bhavet Grahya Mindriyahi. We cannot understand the Lord with our senses, like eyes or the ears. Sevon Mukehi Jihwadav. By engaging our senses, like Jihwadav, starting from the tongue, and hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, through the all kinds of Navavida Bhakti processes. That way one can understand the Lord. So when we enter into the temples, there we make the association with the senior devotees, and then make friendship with the like-minded devotees, and help the new devotees, neophytes. Mahatam Bahumanena. Mahatam Bahumanena. If he is a great devotee, we have to give so much respect. Dinanam Anukampaya. If he is a less matured in the devotional service, we have to help him. And Evatmatulyeshu, Maitriyacha Evatmatulyeshu, one has to make friendship with the Atmatulyeshu in the equal with the our level of devotional service. So that is how Yemena Niyemena cha, and following the regulative principles. So that's why one has to always go to the temple and see the deities and make association with the devotees. So that is what Prabhupada is explaining. And the way one we progress, ye etavam prapadhyante tam tadaiva bhajamyaham. Mama vatman vattante manushaha parda sarvashaha. The degree we completely free from the sinful activities or three material modes of nature, the Lord will reveal himself to us. So that's why he is very kind, and he is appearing in the temple as the Archamutis. And otherwise, if the Lord appears like a Garbhodakasai Vishnu or Karnodakasai Vishnu, we cannot even worship, we cannot bathe him, we cannot dress him, we cannot look after him. So if he is like Achamurti or small deities in our home, we, with so much of love, we will look after deities very nicely. So here the Lord is all powerful, therefore he is able to accept our service by presentation of his Acha form. And Prabhupada is again saying, one should not foolishly think Archa in the temple to be an idol. So the Achamurti is the Lord He himself. So one has to worship the Achamurti through guidance of a pure devotee is therefore always required. So under the guidance of the spiritual master and senior devotees. And then Prabhupada is mentioning in the Bharatavarsha many hundreds and thousands of places of pilgrimage distributed all over the country. So, and these are all, we have got so many Achamutis, and Prabhupada giving in different places different names. Madura, so where he is called, Krishna is called Adikeshava. In Puri is the Lord Jagannatha, and in in Prayaga as the Bindu Madhava, like many other names of the Lord. In Mayapur, he is known as Gaura Hari. So there are millions, billions of such Acha forms of the Lord. So distributed all over the universe. These Achamutis are summarized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. in the following words. So likewise, Prabhupada is explaining here. So Lord has got different energies, so he expands himself in the Vaikuntha planets, different expansions, and then when he is appearing in this material world, he appears as the Achamurtis, and then there are so many of these and Sakshi Gopal, and also there are many other innumerable temples in the world. Okay, so likewise, Prabhupada is mentioning all here so that it is an opportunity for all the conditioned souls. They go to the temples and then purify from the sinful activities. Okay, so that is from this particular verse. So, sa nirgataha kaurav punya labdho gajahvaya tidapatah padani anvakramat punya tikishyani sahasramurtihi. So, tidapadaha. So, if we do not visit the Tirthapada, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nehayat Karma Dharmaya Naviragaya Kalpate, Natidhapada Sevai Jivanapi Murto Hisaha. So, this is the statement of the Devahuti. If one is living and then Nehayat Karma Dharmaya Naviragaya Kalpate, if he is not detached from this material world, and Natidhapada Sevai, if he is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, he is called Jivanapi Mruto Hisaha. Even though he is living, he is considered as a dead person. So here, Vidura, he wanted to travel to all the pilgrimages. So for what? Punya Chikisha Urvyam, to achieve greater piety. So likewise, the Vidura now he is going to the pilgrimages. Now, what is happening after that? So next verse is the 18th shloka. Pureshu punya upavana adri kunjeshu apankatoyeshu saristarasu anantalingaihi samalankriteshu chachar tirtha ayataneshu ananyaham chachar tirtha ayataneshu ananyaham pureshu punyavanadri kunjeshu. So the holy places like Ayodhya, Dwaraka, Madura, these are all Pures. Madhurapura, Dwarakapura, Madhurapuri. So these are different Puras. Pureshu Punya, there are so they are all pilgrimages. So Pureshu Punya, Upavanadri Kunjeshu. So Punya is the piety, Upavana the groves, Adri hills, Kunjeshu in the orchards. So the temples they exist in the so many of the hills like Adris, like Badrinath. There are so many temples on the hills, Tirumala temple, and there are some temples like Kunjeshu, so in the orchards, and so likewise many temples exist in so many places, Ayodhya, Dwaraka, and Madura, and then Vidura, where he was traveling through these things, grove, hill, orchards, and rivers and lakes. So this is apankatoyeshu, sarit sarasu, apankatoyeshu. Apanka is the without sin in the water. Sarit sarasu, the rivers and lakes. Anantalingaihi, and Anantalingaihi, the forms of the Lord are unlimited. Samalankriteshu, and they are being so decorated. Chacharatirtha, so he has executed going there to all the places of pilgrimage. Ayataneshu, the holy lands. Ananyaha, alone, or seeing Krishna alone. So he keeps the Krishna in the heart and he was traveling all the pilgrimages. Pureshu punya upanadri kunjeshu apankatoyeshu saristarasu anantalingaihi samalankriteshu chachartirtha ayataneshu ananyaha. Very beautiful verse. So translation for this verse: he began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwaraka, and Madura. He traveled where the grove, hill, orchard, river, and lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Acha forms of the Lord may be considered idols by the atheists, but that does not matter for persons like Vidura or his many other servants. The forms of the Lord are mentioned here as Anantalinga. The such forms of the Lord have unlimited potency, the same as that of the Lord himself. There is no difference between the potencies of the Archa and those of the personal forms of the Lord. The example of the post box and post office may be applied here. The little post boxes distributed all over the city have the same potency as the postal system in general. The duty of the post office is to carry letters from one place to another. If one puts letters in post boxes authorized by the general post office, the function of carrying letters is performed without a doubt. Similarly, the Achamurti can also deliver the same unlimited potency of the Lord as when he is personally present. Vidra therefore could see nothing but Krishna in the different Acha forms, and ultimately he was able to realize Krishna alone and nothing else. So very beautiful. So this is Ananya. This is the Ananyaha, except Krishna. He is not seeing anything else. He is always so like devotees. They are always chanting Hare Krishna mantra, following the regulative principles. Though sometimes they sing and sometimes they read the scriptures, sometimes they do the bhajan and kirtan, many things. But finally they chant. So this is what we remember: chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at the end of our life, remembering Krishna, nothing else. So here Vidura is keeping the Lord in the heart, and then visiting all the pilgrims, and Prabhupada is giving like a post box here, all these pilgrimage places. So here, Vidura, when he was speaking the similar kind of statement after he returns to the Hastinapura after Kurukshetra battle, he speaks to Duryodhana, saying that Gataswardham imam deham virakto mukta bandhanaha avijnata gatirjahyad savaidher udahrutaha. One has to leave the home. Gatade, after enjoying sense gratification, Gataswadham imam deham virakto mukta bandhanaha. Leaving from all the materialistic activities. Virakto mukta bandhanaha. Avijnata gatirjahya savaidhera udahritaha. And without telling anyone, all the relatives, if one is going outside of the home and going to the pilgrimage, avijnata gatirjahyad savaidhera udahritaha. He is called a dhera. He is called dhera. And he further says, Vidura further says, Yah swakat parato veha jat nirveda atmavan. Priti krutva harim gehad savai narot. He is called Narottama. So keeping the Lord in the heart, and he leaves the home. Priti krutva harim gehad. He is called Narottama. He is very beautiful. He mentions, so now here, practically he has experienced that. He keeps only Krishna in the heart and then left the Hastinapura and going to different pilgrimage places. He's Narottama. So here Vidura is the Narottama, keeping only Krishna in the heart and seeing all the different forms of the Lord, Anantalingaihi. So here Prabhupada is explaining this one. And there is no difference between the potencies of the Archa Vigraha and those of the personal forms of the Lord. So Lord is personally present there. Okay, so that is that statement. So Pureshu Punya Upanadri Kunjeshu Apankatoyeshu Saritsarasu Anantalingaihi Samalankriteshu Chachartirtha Aitaneshu Ananyaha. Okay, shall move to the next verse. And then what Vidra has done? घाम पर्यटन मेध्य विविक्त वृत्ति सदा प्लुतो अधः सयनो विदूतः सयनो अवधूतः अलक्षितः स्वैः अवधूतवेषो व्रतानि चेरे हरितोषणानि घां परिचन्मेध्य विविक्तवृत्तिः. When Vidura was roaming around the world through the pilgrimages, Gam Paritan Medja Vivikta Vrittihi Medja, it's a pure and independent occupation. Vivikta Vrittihi, independent occupation for living. So Gam Paritan Medja Vivikta Vrittihi. So now he doesn't engage himself in the materialistic activities. He is going to all the pilgrimages. Like they're giving some prasadam in the temples, he take the prasadam and sleep there and take the bath in uh, the lakes. Sada Sada Apluto Adah Sayeno Vidut Avadutaha. So he is always with the wet. So Aplutaha, sanctified. Sada, all the time his body is wet because he takes the bath for his purification. And then Adaha Sayeno, he sleep on the floor, on the earth. Adah Sayeno, Avadvotaha, and without dressing himself of the hair, etc. properly. He is not concentrating on the bodily level. So he is trying to purify himself. So his body is wet and he is sleeping on the earth. So like a avadvotaha, without dressing of the hair. Alakshita swaihi avadvota vesho, and so that he cannot be recognized by his relatives. Alakshitaha swaihi avadvota vesho, and he is dressed like a mendicant. Vratani chere haritoshanani. So all the activities he has performing, Vratani chere haritoshanani, only for pleasing the Lord. That is the reason we have got Varnashrama Dharma also. अतः पुंबे द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रमे विभागशः सुनिष्ठस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. Everything is for only pleasure of the Lord. So Vidura, so alakshitaihi swaihi avadhota vesho vrathani chere haritoshanani, only for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, not for anyone else. That's why he is not even recognizable by his relatives because of his avadhota vesho. He is not trimming his hair and he is wearing this kind of orange robes like that. Ratani cheri haritoshan, everything for the pleasure of the Lord. So Gam Paritan Medja Vivikta Ruttihi Sada Pluto Adaha Sayano Avadutaha Alakshitaha Svaihi Avadota Vesho Vratani cheri haritoshanani. So translation for this verse. While so traversing the earth, he simply performed duties to please the Supreme Lord Hari. So his occupation was pure and independent. He was constantly sanctified by taking his bath in holy places. Although he was in the dress of a mendicant, and had no hairdressing nor a bed on which to lie, thus he was always unseen by his various relatives. So the first and foremost duty of a purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The first and foremost duty of a pilgrim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord Hari. While traveling as a pilgrim, one should not be worried about the pleasing society. There is no need to depend on social formalities or occupation or dress. One should remain always absorbed in the function of pleasing the Lord. Thus, sanctified by thought and action, one is able to realize the Supreme Lord by the process of a pilgrim's journey. This is the highest position of a devotee. So here only for the pleasure of the Lord. Sanctified by thought and action, one is able to realize the Supreme Lord by process of pilgrim's journey. So here Kapil Dev says that Varnashrama Dharma and Tato Varnacha Chatvaraha Tesham Brahman Uttamaha Brahmaneshu api Vedajno Yaddajno Abhitikah Tataha Addajya Samsayacheta Shreyan Swadharma Kurat मुक्त संगः ततो भूयान् अदोग्ध धर्ममात्मनः तस्माद् मयि अर्पित अशेषा क्रिया अर्ध आत्मा निरन्तरः मयि अर्पितात्मनः पुंसो मयि सन्न्यस्त कर्मणः न पश्यामि परं भूतुम् अकर्तुः समदर्शनात् I do not see the greatest person, the person who has already given Ardaihi Diya Atma Nirantaraha, and he has submitted his activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mai Arpitatmanaha Pumso, Mai Sanyasta Karmanaha, Na Pasyami Param Bhutam. I do not see a greater person than him. So this is Kapil Bhagavan stated. Kapil Bhagavan's statements. So that is the position of the devotee here. So Vidura, so he was trying to perform all such kind of activities completely free from attachment with the material world. So he does not worry about the relatives and all. He is in the Alikshita Swaihi Avadota Veshu. That is Avadhota Vesha. Vratani Chere Haritoshanani. Everything is for the Haritoshanani, not to please the society. We go to the temple sometimes to dress ourselves to show off. It is not the purpose of that. It is only for the pleasure of the Lord. If we are wearing nice dress, it is whether it is pleasing to the Supreme Lord or not. That is the desire we need to have in our heart. Vratani Cheri Haritoshanani. So likewise, Prabhupada is explaining here. This is sometimes devotees, they're singing, going in the streets for Hare Krishna, Nama Sankirtana. That they do not worry about the materialistic world. एवं वृत्तः स्वप्रिय नाम कीर्त्या हसति अतो रोदिति रौति उन्मादवद् लोकबाह्यः. Because of what? Jatarago Drutachitta Uchaihi, because too much attachment to the Supreme Lord. Evam Vrataha Supriya Namaketyo Jatanurago Drutachitta Uchaihi Hasati Ato Roditi Rauti Udmadavad Nrutyati Lokabhyaha. Sometimes he dances and sometimes he sings, laughs and cries. Roditi Udmadavat Nrutyati Lokabhyaha. He does many things like a Udmadavat. So this is the situation of a devotee who is in the transcendental platform. He does not worry about the social formalities or occupation or dress. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He speaks this statement to the Mayavad sannyasis, that when they asked Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, that you're all doing such kind of things, then Mahaprabhu says this, he quotes this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so likewise, Prabhupada is explaining and describing the Vidura's pilgrimage. So wherever the devotee is there, he makes that place as the pilgrimage. Bhavadvidaha, this is Vidura, Yudhishthira says to Vidura, Bhavadvidaha Tidbhutaha Swamvibho, Tidhi Kuronti Dhani, Swantastena Gadabhuta, because they keep only Lord in the Antastena Gadabhuta. Because of that, wherever a devotee travels, he makes that place as the pilgrimage. Hiddapada. And like Sukadeva Goswami, Sa Godohana Matram Hi Gruheshu Gruhamedinam. And he stays there only for to make that place to sanctify pilgrimage. That is to Tirtha. That very beautifully it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Devotees come together, they discuss about Krishna. Parasparam Twad Gunavad Siru Piyush Niryapita Deha Dharmaha. As soon as they are discussing Krishna Katha, they forget about all the material pangs of this horrible life, Tapatrayas. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. These 3 verses about the Vidura and leaving from Hastinapura and how he is traveling and all the different places, Vana, Upavana, and Adri, Kunjeshu, Apankatoyeshu, Sarisarasu. Very beautiful verses. Anantalingaihi, Samalankriteshu. So this is the Vratani Cheri, Haritoshanani. Everything is for the Haritoshanani, not for the sense gratification. Okay, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I shall stop here. I request dear devotees, if you have got anything to add, kindly add. If you wanted to ask anything, kindly ask. Hare Krishna. So, and also here, one of the statements just wanted to bring, when the devotees are misused with the harsh words, devotees, they do not take any kind of counteractive words. One statement we see, this Shemik Rishi mentions, Tiriskrita vipralabdaha saptaha kiptaha hatapi na asya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabhopihi. This is the Vidura's position when he was addressed by the harsh words by Duryodhana. So the devotees of the Lord, so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, and cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves because they understand that people are bewildered by the Maya. So that's why na asyattat pratikurvanti, they do not take revenge and anything counteractive actions. Tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi, though they are powerful enough to counteract those things. Even though Vidura, he is the Maharadi, but he doesn't want to do anything. And he is a tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi. So they understand they are by bewildering the illusory energy. Duryodhana has appeared as the Amsha of the Kali. So that when he was born, all these foxes and wolves, they were all shouting. At that time only, Vidura also mentions, just cast this child away. But Dhritarashtra did not like that idea. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. With that one, we 17, 18, and 19 verses we have completed. Okay, if there are no further questions, dear devotees, we shall conclude our session for today. And if you have got any questions, kindly raise, or if you have got to add anything, kindly add. Hare Krishna.
Hello, might I ask something, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. I'm very new to these cantos. I just actually bought the Srimad Bhagavatam literally on Saturday, and they just arrived. So obviously I haven't read cantos 1 to 3. When you are going through the shlokas, like how you said the 1.18, I'm very confused because I don't understand the purport of where to look for things. Obviously, I'm sitting with my book. Sorry, I just realized my video is off. I'm sitting with my book, and I did follow what you did, but when you just read the other shloka, the 1.18, chapter 1, I'm confused as to where I should look for this because I'm way behind all of you.
So we are also learning Mataji. So here we have passed through Canto 1 in our chat group. So we are going through first canto, all the chapters, shloka by shloka. So at that time we have seen this verse.
Okay.
So that's how we remember.
Okay, thank you. I understood. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji.
Gratitude for this class.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It is all devotees association. Tulaya malevena pinna swargam na punarbhavam bhagvat sangi sangasya macchainam kimutashishaha. So a moment of devotees association is so valuable that no na swargam na punarbhavam, not even the liberation. So such kind of the moment of association of a devotee, such a valuable. So we learn everything among the devotees association. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, any other questions, or we shall conclude our session? Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Hare Krishna.
Everyone.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class.
Thank you very much for the class.
Gratitude, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.